Well, hello. Welcome to my first episode of my homesteading series. I just want to say that I never intended to make YouTube videos, only ever do a bit of short form content on Instagram just to share around, but it seems that I really like making them and I love sharing around their homesteading dream. For anyone that's new or doesn't know who I am, I'm Jaden. 5 weeks ago I moved from Sydney to a remote abandoned homestead in the snowy mountains where it is windy, cold, snows. I'm not near any shops. I'm away from services. I do have electricity as utilities, but everything else I need to be self-sufficient for, which is, mostly water and sewerage. About me, I guess we could do a little bit about me. I grew up very rural in Tasmania, a single income blue collar worker father, unemployed housewife mother. We didn't have much money growing up. I was one of 6 other siblings. So there was a lot of us, not much money. At 18, I joined the Air Force. I served for 7 years. I did 2 tours of Afghanistan, but that kind of screwed me over after my second tour and posted me way away from where I was trying to build a life. That turned my life upside down, so I discharged from that, bought a goat dairy. That didn't work out very well, got destroyed in floods. And then, we had family drama and issues, which I will not get into. I ended up briefly homeless, got back on my feet, got some jobs, now ended up here and buying this. So everything kind of worked out in the end anyway, but a bit of a full circle. So when I did move initially, I did start the renovations, and I do have some footage of me doing renovations, but there's going to be a lot that I'm going to just have to talk about after the fact because I wasn't filming for content and stuff. So I'll give you a brief overview of what I've done so far. Then we'll go into what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks. And I also want to talk about my plans, of which we will talk about now. So I'm just outside the front of the house. The house is here, just ex-Snowy Hydro houses. And there's this big dam. It hasn't been lined with clay or a liner or anything. Really good. We've got some rocks and stuff up there. So my plan for this is to make it into a natural swim pond, which, ducks and wildlife will obviously go into. I'm going to line it, put rocks and gravel and everything, go to full 9 yards with it. Natural swim pond into a wetlands filter, probably have like a little waterfall, so like a solar pump, so only when it's daylight, and we'll get like a little waterfall and stream going down, how the water will get filtered up through the wetlands filter, up to the waterfall, then back down into there. And then of course there's a natural overflow, of which I will join up eventually to my other 2 dams. So I talked about this in my other video, but again, for anyone that's new, all my rainwater I have to capture my rainwater into tanks, 1 tank. So my plan will be to expand that, get more water storage, more clean water storage. Definitely I want to probably triple what I have there. That's a 22,000 litre. It's definitely not enough. So I want to get about 100,000 litres of water storage on. That'll be a challenge because you need tanks the same size. So I'm going to have to play around with the dirt level and then find a tank that will a bigger tank that will, sort of fit into it. Otherwise, I end up completely bypassing this tank, and maybe that's a good idea. I completely bypass this tank, go to 2 very big new tanks, and then use this tank maybe for garden water or something and pump that up from the dam. So when I first moved up, we had a lot of big trees overhanging the house. I cut them down with my dad when he was here helping me. Just because 1, I didn't want the tree to fall on the house. 2, it's a very big bushfire risk. So, and we still have so many trees that are close to the house. If these catch on fire, my house is gone. So I want to clear a good 20 to 50 meters of good fire break. I'll replant smaller trees and shrubs to make up for what trees I'm cutting down. And then all the trees I do cut down will be turned into firewood, fence posts. Not far from the back of the house here, so right here, probably about 10 meters away from the house, put a nice big vegetable garden, because I'll be clearing out the smaller trees. So this will probably be the place that it will get the most sunlight, and it's nice and close to the house. And immediately next to that, here, just where it's a little bit lower, I will build the chicken pen. A nice big chicken pen here, and even have it allowable for them to go under the trees there. Again, clearing out all these little underscrub and thinning out all the trees, leaving all the big ones. So chickens nice and close to the house, vegetable garden next to the chickens, so vegetable waste from the garden, or vegetables, or not diseased vegetables but been eaten by a moth or whatever, I can just snip it off and throw it over to the chickens, and the chickens will love it. So this is what most of my bush looks like at the moment on the property. I have good amount of grass cover and then just a lot of trees. So what I'll do is thin out all the trees, Sylvia pasture. I'm not running a million stock, just running enough stock for myself. And this grass will grow. I'll improve the pastures, get some clover in there and maybe some rye. Get it growing all nice and good. And of course, plenty of undergrowth here. Thin out all the trees, get lots of spaces going, leave all the big trees, and then either big logs like that one that's rotting, either leave it or pile them up, burn them. And then all the sticks and stuff, I need to get a mulcher, good forestry mulcher that will just tear through all of that and get it all nice and cleaned up. This is an annex, it's not that far from the main house. What I'm going to be using this for is just to park the tractor in and then store all wood, milled timber. And I'll have a sawmill up there, tractor there, wood drying in there and outside of course. So over the other side of the swamp and the dam, which you can see there, that's part of the protected forest. I'll show you more footage of that later. It's the short explanation is it's self-protected, it's just old growth, iron bark. And here is the dam. I have two of these dams. They're in the middle of a swamp, marshland, swamp, same thing. Has good flow going through them, as you can see here, the culvert under, and the water is running quite nicely. So the plan will be just to keep these as they are, and they've already got a pump shed and some 2-inch pipe around. So I'll pump water from here up to where we're putting the natural swim pond, and then clean it through wetlands filter. Also, the water will be pumped from here to a holding tank up the top there, of which I will then use for stock water, water for the chickens, water for the vegetable garden and all that, and that will work out fantastic. This is the real workhorse of the entire property so far. These are Kubota L4 300DT. It is just saving me so much time and strength. Use it mostly for firewood, but also moving rubbish from the demolition work that I've been doing. I'm just where the natural swim pond is, well, it's going to be. And when I first moved here, all the water from the house was diverted to this pond for some reason, and none to the tank, which was very strange. So that was a 4-day job of digging up pipes and plumbing that in, so the water from the house actually went to the tank. So that was one big job we've done. Another job I've had to do is remove these fly screens. These fly screens were on every
window, they were horrible looking and they didn't even work. So that was another big job I've done. Another job was getting the Starlink hooked up. That's just the cord for it. Starlink, probably can't see it. Just a square little satellite thing there on the roof. Getting that up and working. Thank you, Elon Musk. It works. One really good thing that you've done. All the windows are very old, very leaky. You can probably see through there. You know, this is what I'm dealing with. So I've been going around sealing them all up. This one I need to seal and finish painting. But that is been a time-consuming job because I need to strip back all the paint from it. And as you can see, the paint's not, you know, it's not in terrible condition, but it's not in the condition that you can repaint over the top of. So you need to get paint stripper, strip all the paint off, peel them back as much as you can, put a good coat of new paint on it, and get them all sealed up, because you know they're just insanely leaky. I mean, look at that, gaps everywhere. This needs to be re-caulked, so I'll do that with silicone. So all the rooms were this horrible color of green. I did not like it at all. So, and there was a fireplace here. That was another 2-day job, removing this fireplace and then plastering in a new section of wall. You know, this was all green, so I've painted this white. The whole lounge room was that green, and I've it's now duck shell blue. I have floors going in. This carpet will be ripped up tomorrow. More of the hybrid flooring going in. Painted this room. This will be the office. Painted this room. This will be the dining room. And then painted this room. This is the kitchen, which is very messy at the moment. This is the laundry. Another great colour choice. So, been up to painting, fitting floors. That's my slow combustion stove. This will be a walk-in pantry in there. So I'm pretty much just gonna now take you through, and we'll kind of start the episode now, because I think now we're up to date with what's happened and what we've been doing. I also demolished the ensuite, so I'll have a new ensuite going in, but that'll be in the next video, not this video. My hair looks horrible.
Now I'd complained about my hair and caught everyone up to date with what I'd been doing for the last couple of weeks. I thought it would be a great time to go out and set up the trail cam. My way out there though, I realised I'd left that wallaby in the damn swamp and I needed to get him out. So, grabbed my camera, grabbed a stick, set it up. Now you're going to watch me go fishing for a wallaby. It was difficult to get out, to say the least. It took me a bit of time, but I eventually got him. Just knocking him around with a stick, gently nudging till I got him out of the water and could park him up on the bench there. So he's no longer fouling all the water. Come on, buddy, up you go. Get him out.
So, with the trail cam, I know there's a lot more animals here than what I am getting. So, I've come up with a genius way to try get more images of them. Everyone says that if you want wildlife on your property, plant a garden. Well, I don't have time to plant a garden. I have time to buy one of these. Big bag of corn. I'm gonna pour it directly in front of where the trail cam is and see if we can get some.
I really thought I'd outdone myself this time, thinking outside the box. Look at me go here. A little bit of a happy dance. Genius thinking. Sneaky. Let's put this corn down, and in no time at all, we're going to have some brilliant images of some wildlife. So I came back in a few days.
Okay, let's see if we managed to capture anything. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at all these images. Wombat, 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 wombat. Oh, the wombat. The wombat likes the corn. What's this? Possum. Oh, wombat and possum. Okay, no deer, but we've still got some there. We've got 2 piles of it now because I'm a super genius. One pile there, I scattered one up there. We'll give it a few days. Trail cam there. And we see deer rub up there on that tree. We'll give it a few days. Maybe we'll see some really good pictures of those deer. I am such a genius.
After laying my genius plan to capture some pictures of the deer by putting the corn down, I went back to the house and had a look at my wood pile, which was looking very, very sad indeed. Not much there, and I've still got a lot of work to do. So, like any good farmer or homesteader, I had to get cracking away at the wood chores. So I'd been down here a few days prior, so I knew where there was a good log. I just had to get the tractor up in there, and it was a bit of a tricky and tight spot. But with having owned a farm before and driving tractors most of my life, it wasn't such a big deal.
This is the tree I've been cutting up for firewood. Still got a fair bit of it left. Just sucks it's so far away from where I can park the tractor. So carting it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Anyway, we'll get to it.
Cutting wood, it is the endless chore of the homesteader. It is a dangerous chore and it is endless. So here I go, cutting away at this log, and this wood burns so good. And I can't emphasize just how good this wood burns. I don't even need to cut it into small sticks to get it to start. One fire lighter and a couple of really small, logs, a log that you've split 5 or 6 times, and it just goes. Now, the next challenge was getting all this heavy wood back to the bucket of the tractor. I couldn't get the tractor very close, so this is the best I could do.
Okay, bucket's full. Next problem. Getting this bad boy out. Might need some driving skills, I think.
And good driving skills is what we got. When backing out a tractor, always do it slowly and always travel in the direction of gravity. So your back wheels are there preventing you from rolling over and flipping it. Now, I do have rollover protection on this tractor, but it's not something I ever want to test out. I just want to be able to get the tractor in, out, uninjured. Now, I could have parked it a bit further away to be a little bit more safe, but I was very confident in doing these maneuvers. Now that I've got the tractor and the wood back to the house, the wood splitting has to start because some of these logs are just enormous and they're not going to fit in. As I said, this wood burns perfect, so I don't need to split them too small. And after a few hours of work, my little woodshed, I'm a very sad little woodshed, nice and full. Well, for a few more days, and then I've got to cut some more wood up. Now, on to the next challenge.
Alright, so we're just down at the bath. And you should be able to see there is a little bit of a brown tinge to the water. Shine the light in there. It's not better. Like that. So, I haven't wasted much water, just a little bit in the bath. Just to see if there is that brownness. So, we'll go down, we'll fit the filter. And then, we'll see what it looks like afterwards. Alright, I've got everything down here that I'm going to need. Filter, spirit level, saw, drill, screws, me, pipe fittings. Right, let's have a look inside the tank. Oh, come with this ladder. Remove the rock. Grab the torch out of my pocket. Turn it on. Alright. Oh, I've got about a half a tank. But it's probably pretty hard to see. But you can see there's a lot of sediment on the bottom, the leaves and stuff, and the water's not that clean in there. So that is why. It's back on. We're going to be putting this filter on. Alright, so I'll set up the camera and then we'll get to work.
Now I had everything I needed. I got to work on installing these filters because I wanted to have nice clean water going to my house. I first just mounted the 3-stage filter and just sawed off that extra little bit of wood we had before I got started on connecting all the piping. This is before I discovered I had a serious problem.
And they've given me the wrong pipe. This is not 1-inch poly.
But was it really the wrong pipe? After getting on my phone and Googling it around, I discovered and learnt a valuable lesson about piping. 1-inch blue line is measured from the outside of the pipe, but 1-inch rural line, which is the line I needed, is measured from the inside of the pipe. Why an engineer would do that is beyond me. Probably an American European thing. Who knows? But I gave up on that job, just did the pipes back up so the pump would work again, because there was no way I'm going to be able to connect those pipes to this filter and then back to my house. But there was no use sulking about it. A few days later, I managed to get the right pipe from an obscure store in Sydney when I had to go back and pick up the tiles, and I got cracking back away at it. Working at lightning speed, I managed to get the pipes fitted to the 3-stage filter so I could finally see if I had nice, clean drinking water.
Just fitting this insulation just because it does snow here. So this should just help it keep, maybe stop it from freezing. So I already put the pipe on. I should have put it on before the pipe. So now I have to cut down here like this, being careful not to do myself an injury. Kind of like gutting a fish. Oh, don't gut a fish like this actually. It'll make a bit of a mess. Anyway, pretty simple. Just rip it apart. Now, I was actually going to install a ball valve, but it seems I'm missing one fitting. I'm one fitting short to do it, so mistakes were made, as usual. That's okay. There's plenty of room. I'll put the valve in here. So we'll just tape this, just one here. Plenty of room. We'll push it down there and we'll install the valve here, so we can isolate the filter, so every time we're not working on the water, we're not draining everything that's in the house already. Less wasted water, the better. Plus it's another thing to put in there to, just in case something goes wrong, another way to turn the water off.
Now that I was back in the bathroom, I decided to run the bath again just to test out this filter. Firstly, I was bleeding the lines, just getting all the air out of it. Now having a look at the color of the water. If you remember from earlier in the video, there was just a slight tinge of a brown in there, and you could definitely taste it in the water. So ran the bath and it looked crystal clear. Perfect. It appears that the filter was working. But I still needed to do the only test that mattered.
Taste. much better. You don't have that dirty water taste anymore. Okay, so 3-stage filter costs $600 all up. Definitely was worth it. Clean water and was easy to install. So another job off the list. And I have more floors to do.
Now that I'd fixed my drinking water problem and it tasted damn fantastic, I got stuck back into fitting the hybrid flooring. I did do a video before on what I was doing to install it, but I found there was a lot of opinions on how to install floating floor or hybrid flooring, laminate flooring, whatever you want to call it. All I have to say is there's many techniques to doing it. Just pick one that works for you. The technique I was using that worked for me was just cutting a tiny bit out of the corner groove so they would fit together better. And that is because my subfloors, or the floors that I'm laying upon, are not perfectly even. Now, I could have spent days and days and a lot of money trying to get them perfectly even and within the margin of error, but I just didn't see it as feasible. And the one room I did try it on, I made an absolute mess. So I just fitted the floors how I saw fit, and this is how I saw fit to do them. But with all work and no play made Jack a very dull boy indeed. So I decided I was going to go out and fly my drone while the weather was good and finally get some decent footage.
Okay, we're down at the Southern Dam and we are going to try fly the drone, get some better footage this time. So I've only got a really small DJI too. Let's see how we do. Okay, no satellites. Take off.
Take off.
Okay, we're underway. I just dropped it. Clumsy.
It didn't take long flying the drone before I spotted this kangaroo, and it was just sitting there in my southeastern paddock. Well, if you can call it a paddock, it's not really fenced, so I guess it's not really a paddock, it's just grassland. I tried to get a nice close up of him because he just wasn't moving. I thought maybe it was a statue at some point, but then he came a little bit closer to me, and I wasn't sure what he was doing. But then I turned the drone around, and he swatted me. So mistakes was made. I got too close. My bad. I am sorry. He's not roadkill. I didn't hit him with my car. No one died. The kangaroo is fine. Everyone calm down.
Well, that's Australia for you. I got my drone back. The kangaroo didn't knock it out of the sky, but I don't think I'm going to be going near those kangaroos. It saw it and it punched it. It literally punched my drone. I'm lucky still to have my drone and not going over there to get it off that kangaroo. That's Australia for you.
The next day was nice and sunny, and as I was sitting down for breakfast and deciding what to do for the day, I decided I'd finally put off that job I'd been putting off for a few days and fit that underfloor insulation. I know it's going to make such a huge difference to the warmth of the house, and honestly, I'm a little bit sick of freezing my butt off. So I got kitted up for this very dirty job.
All right, time to install some underfloor insulation. I am all kitted up. Now this is supposed to be like non-irritable stuff. It's polyester. That's R4, that's going under the bedrooms. I want R3. R4, here's some R3. Anyway, so I was getting a bit of contact dermatitis from it because apparently my immune system and skin decided to have a hissy fit. So I had really red eyes, red skin yesterday, and coughing. It might have been the dust under there, you never know. Anyway, so trying to mitigate that.
So sorry about the voice. It's getting pretty muffled under this mask. This reminds me of COVID. I was working biosecurity at the airport during COVID. Kitted up every day. That was bloody hell. Okay, so we're under the house. As you can see, floorboards with, oh jeez, the light's a little bit bad. Yeah, my floorboards are for nothing. It's a piece of wood. And up there where I was installing yesterday, just bought a few more bags under. I've done all the hard stuff, the tight access, so I'm hoping this is a bit better now. Goodness. Where should I start? Down there maybe? That's the lounge room. Or should I do the rest of the tight access? Just get it done. Alright, let's do that. I've already got a roll up there. Staple gun. This cost me $110. I'll tell you what, it's pretty been worth it too. Glad I spent the money. I'm going to set the camera up and then get installing. I can't see with these glasses. That's better. Okay, so you can see here where I've installed the insulation. And up here, yesterday during the snow, yes, I was having fun under here. But it makes a difference. It is noticeable. Once the whole house is done, it'll be fantastic. It's sagging up there. I wonder why. Might need to go up and put another staple in it. Alright. Let me set up the camera. You're going to see me crawling around like something out of a horror movie. So that's your trigger warning. If you're scared of crawly things. Sorry, just undoing the tripod. This GoPro. Okay. Try not to show the plumber's crack. Okay. Move this here. Stapler. And I'll bring you up with me. This is so much fun. Not. Just trying to not get it on my skin. So. Okay. Nice and simple. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so what you do is you just push it up in there. Then I can get my stapler, which is here. See if I can just sit this on my chest. Hope you're getting an okay shot. And you just staple. Oh. Check for electrical wires first. Safety first. Yeah, none on this one.
Okay, there's the stud there. Oh, not the stud. The piece of wood. There we go. And okay, so hopefully you saw that. Push it in there, nice little wall. Okay, safety equipment's making a big difference. Yesterday, when I was pushing it up, I was feeling so bloody itchy already. And you know what, if you're a builder who throws shit under a house like this, honestly, go fuck yourself. Honestly, go fuck yourself. Like, you are a fucking scumbag. Unless you're building a house which is perfect and will stand this, you know, because anytime you've got to do maintenance or install insulation, people crawling all over your nails, your screws, your pieces of wood. Oh Christ, you know, I had so many swear words yesterday. If I had a swear jar, I'd be bloody poor. Yeah, push it up, push it up. That's enough of that rant. I think you get it. When you're building, don't be a freaking idiot and throw shit under. Yeah, so you rip it in, rip it off, push it under. Look at that. Done. Some staples to secure it. Make sure it ain't going nowhere. And really, that's it. That's all it is. Now that's secured. It's a big fluffy pillow. And, oh, yeah, we got the shot. I thought the camera was pointed wrong. Oh, good enough. You know what, I'll move it here. And instead of going all the way down, I'm already on my back up here, so I might as well just do, right, you know, one little section at a time, just going across. If I had built the house, I would have made this, oh, nice under here. Look at this rock. This is what I'm talking about, this shit. This is cement. From when he was cementing. Okay. Somehow I got shit in my eye through the goggles. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Alright. Push it up. Staple. 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 More rocks. Okay. It's almost wood, sticks. As I said, fuck him. Honest to God, fucking hell. Sorry for the language, but Christ. If you're an apprentice watching this, just stop now. Stop listening to the old dudes that say just throw it in the walls, throw it under the house. Just fucking stop. Because I guarantee karma will get you. You're gonna buy a house and you're gonna want to have to do something like this, and there's gonna be shit all under it. And you're going to be not having a great time. Anyway, so that's how to install it. I'm going to just set it up down there a bit, the camera, and then we'll just super fast forward it. So you'll see me zip it along at 1,000,000,000 miles an hour. But, yeah, this is what it's like installing underfloor insulation.
Now, I've got to say, I've done a few dirty jobs in my time. Confined space entry, fuel tank entries when I was part of the Air Force. But sometimes, and very often during this underfloor installation, I was not very happy at all. Not only was dust constantly falling in my face and eyes, and the goggles fogging up, and the mask being uncomfortable, there was also all the debris from the builders. And I had a rant in the early video about it, but I can't emphasize it enough. I mean, why do you have to leave all your waste lying around all the time? You're chucking it in the walls, chucking it under the floor. It is just pure laziness. And it's not like you guys are building perfect houses. I've seen the workmanship, and usually the workmanship of the people that are throwing the rubbish under the house is some of the worst you'll ever see. Anyway, this is me zipping along, getting the underfloor insulation done. And I've got to say, after being under the house all day and then having that shower at the end of the day, you could see the mud and dirt just coming off me.
Camera, let's turn that on. If you're wondering what happened to my thumb, it was a little bit embarrassing. I was cutting some sticks with the axe and it caught the edge of it, and I'm lucky I didn't take my whole thumb off. Just a little bit of skin. Okay, so looking up here, we're reading, what are we reading? 7.1, 6 degrees. We're reading here 4.9, 4.9, 3.9, 6. So, like, just passively, you can see just passively without even applying heat, because insulation's a stabilizer, so that's what the R rating is. So R1, you know, you can look it up, but basically R1's the worst because it loses heat or coolness the quickest, with R like 9 and 10 being the best because it stops that heat loss. So even without applying any heat, it's already made a huge difference. So when I have the heaters going, the insulation stops so much heat leaking out, stops cold leaking through and in. So that's the purpose of it, and for it to be already reading a couple of degrees difference is really good. So I'm going to be very interested to see tonight when I have the heaters going if it's actually noticeably warmer, or if I have some sort of not placebo effect, but you know, confirmation bias, I guess would be the right word. But we'll see. Exciting times. Okay, so I've done this part of the house. I've got one roll left over, so I'm going to use as much as I can on this wall here. I might actually get the whole wall done. I think I will get the whole wall done with the scraps I've got around as well, a few scraps. And then that's a bit of a wall done. Well, it's straight going to gyprock plaster, and then no insulation between that and the paint. So that'll be good to insulate that wall as well. It all helps, every little bit helps. But look at that, I'm going to be walking on pillows or blankets tonight. Polyester rolls.
So now the underfloor insulation's done and I've got the flooring down. I'm being a bit of a kid and just lying on it. It's kind of nice. Anyway, that's all for today's episode. I know it was clunky and messy. I am new to this. I will get a lot better at it. And now that I'm filming consistently, everything will make a lot more sense. So thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Love you all. I keep the positive comments coming. I absolutely love them. I read every single one of them. Thanks again, guys. Thank you.